So here's something I wanted to watch with you guys. Are men really scared of women? So I've made this poll a few times before with you guys, chat. And every time the vast majority says, yes, yes they are.
So I want to talk about why men of this generation are scared of women.
Should I tell her, guys? Okay, I'll tell you. With all due respect, young lady, men don't fear women at all. In fact, probably the issue is women don't fear men or respect men at all these days. Your generation offers a tenth of what our mothers provided. Barely cook, clean, aren't integral, dress up for other men not your own, looking for constant attention on social media, offering very little to the relationship and expecting so much to be done for you. You want a man over 6 feet, high-value man. You haven't the slightest clue how to earn a high-value man. Further, most of you were not raised with a traditionally masculine
He's cooking her though, cheesy ass background.
father. You don't know how to treat men. We're not scared. We're just tired of what you don't bring to the table. And you're gonna have to fix it, girls. I'm sorry.
So I want to talk about why men of this generation are scared of women.
Damn. He does have some good points there, to be honest. I didn't think about it that way so far. I actually didn't think about that.
Should I tell her, guys? Okay, I'll tell you. With all due respect, young lady, men don't fear women at all. In fact, probably the issue is women don't fear men or respect men.
Now, one thing I'm gonna say is... probably the issue is women don't fear men. I don't think anyone should fear anyone else. Because there are women that do fear men. There are women that fear men a little bit way too much, so much that they demonize men. So, fear, I would say he's wrong with that one, but respect, 100%. There is a lack of respect for women. Not what? There's a lack of respect from women for men. Definitely. Women too scary because other people scary. Okay, chat. I actually do want to know your reason now for why you guys are scared of women. Because I said, vast majority, you always answer yes. I don't know if for the memes, or if you're actually scared of women, so... tell me. It should be a baseline fear, regardless of gender, for gender, mainly since it keeps people from doing dumb stuff. I mean, yes, anxiety/fear is a natural response of keeping your body safe and keeping yourself safe, sure. But being cautious isn't the same as being scared. No experience, one mistake equals life is over. Not scared, but trying is not worth it. Because one failed attempt will result in my social life ruin, at least. Meeting expectations, men rarely raise expectations to be friends. Most women in my country purposely try to get men and other women thrown in jail for giggles. Now, that is actually, I think, good points you guys are raising in that case. Especially the one with the false allegations shit. Especially that one. And yes, there should be freaking repercussions for people that just lie about shit. And it doesn't even have to come to like word allegations, like a big fucking shit. It can just be in a friend group. It can just be mentioned in a freaking friend group, and everyone around you will just leave you because they think it might be true. Shit like that happens. Unfortunately, quite often. Everyone should fear me, but jokes aside, you don't want a trauma dump, but I'll drop a little lore in my chat. Alright, sure. I have a girlfriend that have been pretty cold with me every time I try to open up with some of them, and they would always act like they were listening, but in reality they never listened, and then they would gossip about me behind my back. I'm so sorry that that happened to you, man. That is awful. And from what I'm understanding, you're not with them together anymore, so that's good for you, man. The Social Double Center for Women, I forgot about that. Just considering I work for a big corporate and go to bars, my social exposure is not in very constructive situations. Don't know personally because I was married before TikTok, but a lot of dudes I know are scared they are going to be made fun of online. Not scared of winner, I'm scared of rejection, which is unfortunately not avoidable. Yeah. You know, rejection is likely going to happen. It's not a guarantee. But try not to let that hold you back. There's no surprise that AI girlfriends market is booming. Yeah, men are going to have AI girlfriends and women are going to be sleeping with robots. It's 2025, people, wake up! Women are all banging robots now. I guess the problem boils down to women not being afraid of consequences when they cheat or divorce. It makes a lot of women predatory in their pursuit, and there is real risk of financial ruin if you pick wrong. Oh shit. Reminds me of how, for years, I confused fear and respect. Oh, is that an actual thing that people do? I mean, now that you mention that, my stepfather would try to induce respect with fear. So, now that you do mention that, I do kind of get it. But in a messed up, abusive way. Yeah. Like fearing my dad sometimes instead of respecting him in my childhood. Yeah, exactly. Fear and respect can be the same respect of power. No, I wouldn't say so at all. Respect and fear, I would say, are two very distinct things. Like, very different. There's proof that women tend to be more violent than men, but women's violence is psychological and men won't report it because of social consequences. Oh my god, that is actually such a fucking good point. I want to avoid another essay, so leaving it short. That is actually such a fucking good point, man. It actually reminds me... Like, that actually just reminds me of, I don't know, I saw that on TV. My mom was watching some shit. I don't know if it was the news, a fucking talk show or whatever. A kid was asked, or not asked, a kid drew an image of him and his dad being like tiny, scared deer, and the mom being a big, angry lion. And like, it explained that the mom was, well, not physically violent, but yeah, psychological violent. Yes, women can be very much violent and hurtful. They just do it in other awful ways. Now, to which one is worse, that's for each individual to decide on their own. You can't measure either of them saying either of them is worse, to be honest. There, let me play this one for you.
I really think the hashtag MeToo movement has done tremendous damage towards society, and mixing with how toxic social media can be has both really poisoned the well. Which makes me sad and annoyed. Cause now I'm not sure how things will go outside of the internet. But I'm not as gloom and doom as I was. The hashtag MeToo really screwed up with handling Terry Crews and Johnny Depp. I can neither say that I agree or disagree. I don't know myself if it did more damage or good for society in that way. Like, it definitely did do damage. But I don't know if like the good outweighs the bad in this case. Definitely did do some damage. Agreed. Because yes, there's a lot of women just accusing people left and right of things that they never did. I mean, how often have you guys seen cases of a man going out of jail years after a girl had admitted that she just lied about the entire thing? I see them so often. Probably at least like once every 1 to 2 months. It's ridiculous how often it actually does happen. I wasn't treated well by my peers growing up. The guys I was able to deal with, we fought and become friends with, but I never learned how to deal with women. Eventually I realized I was afraid of them. I mean, I guess it would make sense being scared of the unknown if you never interacted with them. You just don't know. You just don't know any better.
So I guess that does make sense in that way. Wasn't creator of MeToo proven liar? I do not know about that, sorry. On average, women attempt to destroy the reputation of a person instead of throwing their hands off for personal gain. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying either of them is worse. Both are bad. Like, just don't do either, you know? A case that happened here in my country, a girl was angry with the guy who rejected her. She reported him for SA. The dude unalived. They were 16, and yes, it was a false report. That's the type of things women violence can come with. There you go. Chat. Real cases. Real shit that does happen. It's honestly disgusting. And there needs to be more repercussions in more countries for people just falsely accusing shit like this. Because if there were better repercussions in place, less women would do it. But they do it because they get away with it more often than not. Society always liked witch hunting, so I'm not even questioning why it happens. I can't even argue with that. I cannot even argue with that. Humans are horrible. None of this even looks at the court systems handling fathers' rights. Yeah, how often does it also happen that a drug-addicted woman still gets the child, what's the word? The rights to customs? The child? Child custody! God! English! I'm sorry. How often does it happen that a drug-addicted crackhead mother still gets custody of a child? Well, the father is a good person. 80% of the time? Is that a real number? I don't know, but it's probably right. That number's probably right. Way too often, yes. Way too freaking often. In my opinion, if there were to be laws against false accusations, the punishments or fines should be more severe if the accusations were sexual related. It definitely should be measured on a basis on how bad the accusation was. There definitely should be like different punishments for it. Yeah. Compare what happens when women slap men and when man slaps woman. Yeah, no, you're right. When a man slaps a woman, outrage, everyone angry. I mean, obviously so. But when a woman slaps a man, everyone is like, oh, you're such a pussy, just a wimp, man it up. Oh, you got hit by a woman. Oh, are you a woman yourself? Are you a girl? Weak. Shit like that. Alimony paying for your ex when she's a strong, independent woman, different from child support. Paying for your ex when she's a strong, independent woman, different from child support. Alimony, isn't that when they get separated? If I'm not mistaken, like divorced. Deserved. Man up. Yes, Andrea. How about you don't hit your significant other? Like literally. Like literally. How about we don't use violence against each other? Alimony is pay for child? Alright. Isn't the MeToo movement let a lot of wolf-yelling women loose? Yeah, I guess this conversation does really open up more. They open me up more to the idea that it did more damage. Like, even some other attacks on someone's character with false accusation should be considered in how severe it be. Like, if it make them look like a thief or liar when they in actuality wouldn't dare steal and don't go beyond white lies. Wouldn't that be defamation in that case? Like, in that case, making shit up about a person that's not true? Isn't that just defamation? Well, I'm a masochist, so slaps are not that bad for me. Okay, but consent. Just not the point I lose. What's important here is consent. There are way too many cases where alimony and other payments that were supposed to go into raising a child were squandered by the females than males. Also true. Also a good point. Also a very good point. Double checking stats in the USA, it varies by state, but most states, it's around 23% of fathers get custody in a dispute. Like, generally, I mean. Alright. I feel like... I don't know if it should be 50-50. I don't know. Just because I don't... I just can't say. I feel like there's way too many factors going into it, so I'd have to think way more about it. Family court in the US tends to be heavily favor women. Should probably be 60-40, maybe. Goes between 23 and 50, but most are on the low end. Damn. Yeah, it definitely shouldn't be that low. Like, I can agree, it definitely shouldn't be as low as 23%. Family court, yeah, okay, I already read that. I would say it's a weird mix in that at first it had good intentions of outing heinous behavior that was being conducted. Yeah, definitely, because there's definitely also cases where bad shit does happen to women, 100%. So that did help women come speak about what happened to them, find courage to speak about it. Because yes, when shit happens, they get too embarrassed. They are too scared. They blame themselves that shit happened to them. And they aren't able to speak up about it. So it definitely did good, but it also did bad. Because now there's a lot of people just lying about it. I think one was as low as 14? Jesus. Similar to how people should have the same rights regardless of gender. If we are going to have laws like alimony still on the books, they should apply regardless of the gender. I don't know how alimony is applied, so I can't really argue about that personally. I brought up Terry Crews because of stuff like this. He was arrested by a man and opened up by it, and nearly no one took him seriously because of how he looks appearance-wise. I didn't even know that happened. Even when he went to talk on CNN about this in one of his discussions. Jesus Christ. Yeah, society is messed up. I feel like shit like this should probably be taught in school, that it does happen, and it doesn't make anyone any less of a man if they get psychologically abused by a woman, for example. Alright. I would say we have the discussion here now. Misandry is commonplace nowadays. Unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately, misandry is taking place a lot. One more thing I want to say as an ending statement, I guess. Psychological abuse is also abuse. Yep, absolutely, agreed. Ending statement. A lot of women are saying you can't be sexist towards men, which is absolutely not true, because misandry is a thing. Okay, I'm gonna read this and then we move on. I think another aspect that needs to be brought up, sexual misconduct in SA in general, is much easier to expose nowadays than back in the 90s. In certain industries, like the music industry, for example, in the 80s and 90s, heinous shit would be buried that you wouldn't hear about till 20 years after the fact. You are right. You're absolutely right. No, agreed. And with that, yeah, I think we move on from the topic now.